So the Irish border has come back to bite someone in the behind, as it looks likely to derail Brexit talks again, as a row is brewing over the EU's request to set up an office in Belfast. Now, this isn't new. This is something that Theresa May's government allegedly agreed to, but since she's no longer PM, it looks like Boris and his government are dead set against such an idea. The UK's Paymaster General Penny Mordaunt has written to the EU to reject a repeated request for an office in Northern Ireland. She said, quote, "The UK cannot agree to a permanent EU presence based in Belfast. The EU has asked for permission to open this office in Belfast because it has said that it needs to oversee the implementation of new customs and checks that will apply to trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland from next year when the transition period ends." Now, the EU has said that there are very particular capabilities and competences required on the ground, distinctive from the more traditional competences of any other EU delegation. But Boris Johnson's government has rejected the idea on the grounds that it would be divisive to see an EU office in Belfast. Now, that's not true, due to the fact that the majority of people in Northern Ireland voted against Brexit, and even elements within the DUP are having doubts about leaving the EU the way Boris Johnson wants to. Unfortunately, this decision will not be taken by the Northern Ireland executive, but by our friends in Downing Street. So we can be sure that Northern Ireland will be thrown under a bus, maybe a big red bus, for petty political posturing once again. So it's not clear to me what the government of the UK is playing at here. Are they attempting another time to use Northern Ireland as a pawn in a game to extract concessions from the EU? Or is this some strange attempt to keep hardline Brexit supporters on board? So basically it's this. The EU is worried that the UK will try to roll back on the deal signed in January and not implement customs and regulatory checks on animals and food entering the island of Ireland, therefore forcing checks to take place on the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic, something that would be a threat to the Good Friday Agreement, something that Boris Johnson has promised to protect. This may amount to nothing if Boris Johnson asks for an extension to the transition period. This would be a case of kicking the can down the road once again, and therefore no office would be required. The UK are talking about leaving the transition period either with an impossible deal or without a deal. Considering that they have implemented almost zero infrastructure to deal with a no-deal Brexit or even a Brexit deal, it looks more and more likely to be a Boris bluff that is taking place. However, do not underestimate the Tories' capabilities at causing maximum damage to their own people in the name of petty politics. But we should know more in a few months' time. Why not become a Patreon and enjoy access to our Discord server where we share news, chat, and have some fun? If you become a patron, you can also make video suggestions on topics that are important to you. Check it out via the link in the description.